Hello and welcome again to the Comp 1000 instructional video series. This is video number 22B, and in this video we're going to cover roughly the second half of the task that you will face in Word Unit C, the project Word Unit C. The reason I said roughly the entire second half, there'll be a third video for Word Unit C, and that video, which will be 22C, will cover inserting a picture and resizing that picture, and it needs a video of its own. So with that being said, let's talk about the tasks that we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover about 10 tasks, or about 8 tasks actually. We're going to create a bulleted list. In our previous video we created a numbered list. Well, we're going to create a bulleted list. We're going to change the bullets from being a small box to being check marks. The next task we'll do is we're going to use something called text effects, and more specifically we're going to do a shadow effect. We'll also do some more bolding and italicizing of some text. We've done that in our previous videos. We're going to then tackle what's probably one of the more difficult segments or sections of Comp 1000, and that is setting tabs. We'll also follow that up with talking about indentation options, and we'll close out this video with some more paragraph shading, something we've done in a previous video. Okay, so with that being said, you see on your screen that we are using the same document where we left off with video 22A. Is our video, our screen that has to do with a golf instruction announcement or newsletter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a bulleted list. We see up here in our previous video where we created these numbered lists, numbered types of bullets. Well, we're going to put some bullets to these 4 new clinics that are being offered this season. So I click and hold to select what I want to add bullets to. I click and hold and drag down. Make sure you don't get something like that. See that little tab sticking down underneath the word caring? You don't want to get that, okay? So make sure you only get what you want. Then I've told Word what do I want to add bullets to. Then in the paragraph group I go up here, and remember we use this icon for our numbering, our numbered types of bullets. Well, we want to use symbols. So I click the more button, and let's select this one, the little square boxes. And if I click away, I see that indeed it did add these square boxes as my bullets. Well, maybe you look at that and you go, I would rather have something like check marks. So all you need to simply do is highlight what you want to change again, and it's those 4 bulleted items. We go back up here. If the item that you want to use is already in the list, which it is for us, it's these check marks, just click on it. But what if I don't see what I wanted to use? Well, again, highlight what you wanted, go to the more button up here in the paragraph group under bullets, and go down here to define new bullet, and then click on symbol. And you'll see that you have a wide range of symbols. You got the scroll bar here that allows you to scroll through a whole bunch of symbols you can use for your bullets. Okay. Well, we're satisfied with our check marks, so we'll leave that alone. You're going to create some bullets in step 7, and you're going to change those bullets to another type of symbol in step 8 of your Word Unit C project. Okay. So now let's use something called text effects. I scroll down and I see that we've got a little segment here saying that there are 3 new sponsors of our instructional series. I want to do something that highlights these names. So again, I'm going to click and hold and select these 3 names. Perhaps I center them. We've done that before. I go here to the paragraph group and click on center. Then I want to do something called text effects. While these 3 names, All Star Golf and Training, New Game Golf, and Smith Rollins Golf Apparel, while they're still highlighted, in the font group you have a symbol here. If I pause over it, it says Text Effects and Typography. Okay. I click the More button, and notice that you have some preset text effects here. You can then select those, or you also have multiple drop down or drop out types of menus here under outline, shadow, reflection, etc. Let's just use, to keep it simple, let's use this first one so we see how this works. we go here and we see that this is fill black text 1 shadow effect. So let's just click on that. And if I click away so that my highlighting, it does add a bit of a shadow effect to the back of the each letter. You will face using text effects in step 9 of your Word Unit C project. Let's now take a look at bolding some text, and maybe we will also italicize a little text as we go along here. And this is something that we've already done, but I like doing it several times because you are going to face this several times throughout your Word work for Comp 1000. Well, let's highlight new clinics this season, and let's bold. And remember, bold is found in the font group. And at the same time, let's italicize it. Okay? And then let's do the same thing to our new sponsors. Bold and italics. And then to the next heading, which is have we piqued your interest yet? Bold and italics. And you're going to face bolding and italicizing text in step number 10 of your actually step 4 and step 10 of your Word Unit C project. Now to the step that gives the most trouble to students, and that is setting tabs. And by tabs we mean we want to set some tabs so that columns of similar information line up nice and neat. Let's just say, how would we do this if we didn't know how to do tabs? We'd probably, let's say we would click here and space over, then we'd click here and we'd try to space over and get everything lined up nice and neat. Well, it really won't quite line up right. See, it's off, and we've all done that. Well, I'm going to undo that. How do we set up tabs? Well, the first thing is you have to tell Word what text do you want to be affected by these tabs. Well, we want everything from tier down to individualized lessons. Okay, maybe on your Word Unit C project it's only 2 or 3 lines, but for our sample project here we're going to use these 5 lines. Obviously the bolded is our titles. Okay. So I've told Word this is where I want these tabs to go into effect. If I set these tabs right now, it won't affect any of the other text in the entire document. It'll only affect these 5 lines. Okay, so where do we find tabs? It's in the paragraph group. You have these little boxes at the bottom right hand side of each group. See them? Those are called launcher buttons. So you go to the paragraph group launcher button and you left click. And at the very bottom of our box here, you see a button called Tabs. I click there. Now let me warn you, you do not want to mess with this default tab stop. If you change it and click OK, it's going to change the default tabs for every document, not just this project, but for every document until you go back and change it. So don't mess around with this. We want to put our tab stops right here. So let's say we want to put in a 1-inch tab stop. So I type in the number 1. I want it to be a left tab. Okay, you're going to have to be told whether it's a left tab, a center tab, a right tab, decimal tab, bar tab, whatever. We want a simple left tab, and we're not going to have any leaders. We're not going to have any dots that lead up to our information. Okay, so I put 1 left tab, so I press set. The most common mistake students make is they click OK. You must click set. Okay, that puts in the 1-inch tab. Well, maybe I want to add another tab, so I'm going to go in here and backspace over that, and I'm going to put in a 2-inch tab. I want it to be left, no leaders. I'm going to click set again. So you see that I've put in a 1-inch and a 2-inch tab in this box right here. So I click OK. Don't panic when you do that and you say, well, nothing happened. All you've done there is you set the tabs. Okay, now I have to insert the tabs. So to insert the tabs, I go here in between tier and amount and make sure you click just to the left of that, the first letter and the second word there, and I hit the tab key on my keyboard. It's normally on the left hand side of your keyboard. And then I do the same thing to the word description. I click just to the left of the D. Notice I didn't have it there. I don't know if you can see the difference. If you notice on the screen, that's not where you want it. You want it right there, right to the left of the first letter. And I click on the tab key. And I do the same thing. To the left of the $sign, tab. To the left of includes, tab. To the left of the $sign again, tabs. To the left of includes, Oops, get it right to the left of it. Tab. There we go. Oops, get it right to the left of it. Tab. Okay. Tab. And one more to go. To the left of it. Tab. To the left of it. Tab. Okay. Well, then I notice if something like that happens, and I purposely put the words 1, 3, 5, I type them out. If you do your tabs and it wraps around to the next line, look and see if there's a way for you to shorten this. And there is here, and it allows me to one more time show you how you delete text and reinsert text. So I want to get rid of the number 1 and just put in 1. All I did was I highlighted the word 3, and I leave it in blue and I type in the number 3. I highlight the 5. What I really am trying to show you here is how you don't have to do delete and then type something. Just highlight it and replace it. By leaving it in blue, you're replacing it. So I'm replacing all of the actual typed out numbers with the number symbol, I guess you would say. Okay. I leave it in blue, type in a 3. Perfect. Now I don't have that last line wrapping around. You're going to do tabs in step 11 of your Word Unit C project. Now let's do something called indentation. If I click here and I hit tab right now, guess where that's going to go? The word please. It's going to go all the way over here to this $sign. Well, I don't want an indentation that's that big. So to create a first line indentation that's smaller than this first tab, one thing you can do is you can highlight this information here. Okay, highlight all that, and to do a special option indentation, meaning I want to set a special indentation that isn't related to my tabs. I highlight this and I go up and again in the paragraph group I click the launcher button, and there it is, indentation special. I simply click there. I only want it to be on my first line, and it tells me how much. Well, maybe I want it to be 0.2 instead of 0.25. All I need to do is either click here and get rid of that 5, or I could have used the down button to go from 0.25 to 5, and I click OK. And notice, sure enough, it indented 0.2. You're going to do special indentations in step 12 of your Word Unit C project. Let's do some paragraph shading as well. So I've got this. What I'm going to do by paragraph shading is I'm putting a color, a very faint color perhaps, behind a certain block of information. So I'm going to highlight this again in case you had clicked away. I highlight this. Paragraph shading is not that. Okay, that's highlighting like with a highlighter, actually, some text. What we're going to do is do paragraph shading. So here's paragraph shading. I click the more button, and I want to use tan background to darker 10%. Well, there's tan background to darker 10%. So it's the first one down. I click on it, and it adds. If I click away, you see it's added a kind of a gray box as a background to that last paragraph. Lastly, I want to move this paragraph away. It's crowding this last line that was tabbed. So I'm going to move this away a little bit. So I'm going to highlight it again. Okay. And I'm going to do what's called paragraph spacing before. So in other words, how much space do I want before this paragraph? But in other words, before the fourth tier line and the start of this paragraph. Again, I go to the paragraph group, go to the launcher button, and there it is, spacing before. I simply change this to 24. I can click backspace over the 0, type in 24, and click OK. If I click away, I see that I've moved that away. You're going to do paragraph shading in step 14 of your step 13 of your Word Unit C project, and you'll do paragraph spacing in step 14 of your Word Unit C project. That completes the Word 22B video. Video 22C will cover inserting a picture into a Word document. Thank you for your time.